Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, karibu sana. Welcome to Make an Impression. I like to call this a safe space where we are choosing to be authentically bold in how we live our lives, whether that is matters faith, lifestyle, or personal development. So if those are topics that interest you, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and joining this growing family. So today we are talking about brand personality. What comes to mind when you think about brand personality? Why is it important for us to establish a personality for our brands? And by our brands, I don't necessarily mean only if you have a business or if you have something that you're selling, but you at a personal level. Because you, as you sit by yourself, you are also a brand. So what kind of personality are you carrying? How do you get there? How do you get to establish what personality works for you, what personality works for your business, and what are you trying to build in the process? So definitely I'm going to start by defining how I understand what brand personality is. And from where I sit in simple terms, I think brand personality is really just the feeling or the emotion you kind of like evoke in a person when they interact with your brand or when they interact with you as a person. For me, that is what brand personality is. And I struggled so much. If I can give my own example, I really struggled when I was coming up with what personality do I really want to create for Make an Impression. And I thought it was something I can share with you guys so that if you're there and you are trying to establish or find a unique personality for your brand, a unique personality that is going to just establish you as a brand, as a person on your own, a unique personality for your business. I hope that this video gives you the tips that you need to be able to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. And I want to start by saying that brand personality is how you express yourself, or how a company, or how your content, anything, just feel it there, yourself, how you express yourself, either through your tone of voice, your core values, your beliefs, and your visual identity. Although I would like to separate that, because I feel like brand personality is not the same as brand imagery. It's not the colors you use for your brand. It is not the logo. It is not all those things, because all that is a whole different topic on its own. But a personality is really just the feeling, it's the emotion, it is what you evoke in your customer when they interact with your product, when they interact with your content, when they interact with you. What emotion or what feeling do you evoke in them? Because that's what helps you establish a good personality for your brand. And I want to give 5 main personalities that I found on the interweb, but I feel like there's so many other personalities that you can actually come up with when you're thinking about what you want to be the main thing that represents your brand, or what is the main feeling or emotion that you want to evoke when someone interacts with your brand. So the interweb gives us the main 5, which is sincerity. The first personality that you can give your brand is sincere. Do people feel a sense of sincereness or sincerity when they interact with your brand, when they interact with your content? And that could be, it's because you're ethical, it's because you're trustworthy, it's because you're down to earth, it's because you have values. So such things evoke an emotion of sincerity when people interact with your brand or when they interact with your content. And that's the personality you can choose to run with. Do I want people to really feel a sense of peace, a sense of, be emotionally pushed or evoked to do something? Do I want people to really feel that this content that I post here is very sincere? What I share is it's open and it's really just what is happening around in life. That's one of the personalities that you can choose to run with for your brand. The other one is excitement. Do you want people to feel bold? Do you want people to feel creative? Do you want people to feel spirited or highly lifted to try something? Are you evoking a personality of excitement? Are you I think a good example that I got online on this one is Nike. When you look at Nike as a brand, how they project it or how they put it out there is so that they can evoke an emotion of excitement for you. When you put on a Nike shoe, you want to keep fit, you want to be out there, you want to, be doing all these things. So it evokes that emotion when you interact with that brand. The other one is competence. Are you evoking a spirit of successfulness, accomplishment, influential? Is that the kind of personality that you want your content to put out there? Do you want people to feel competent? Do you want people to be compelled to want to do better for themselves when they come to your channel? Which is kind of like what I feel Make an Impression is all about. I don't know, you guys, let me know in the comment section. The other one is sophistication. Are you talking about glamour? Are you evoking an emotion of upper class? Are you, do people come and interact with your content and feel you are really sophisticated? You are really, your class is different from the rest. There's also that feeling, evoking an emotion of sophistication. That's also a personality that you can pick for your brand. And the last one is ruggedness, toughness, outdoorsy, athletic, which is also kind of like what Nike is doing. I think really just first of all have to figure out what kind of personality do I want to run with for my brand, because what that helps you do, it helps you even when you come to now picking the imagery of your brand. The personalities is what will guide you. If you are thinking about, I would like people to evoke an emotion of focus, to evoke an emotion of sincerity, then that can help you now choose your brand imagery. Do I want to pick white because that is what I want to represent? Which is kind of like what I did with Make an Impression when I was sitting down to think about what personality do I really want Make an Impression to represent. And I even put it in, I think I'm just going to put it here, which I basically just called our core values, because this is really just the voice that I want Make an Impression to speak. And I talked about barefoot, guys. I always talk about barefoot, and I'll keep talking about barefoot until all of us understand that Make an Impression is all about barefoot. And that's really just the first one is we are bold. We are choosing to be fearless in pursuit of what sets our souls on fire. We are choosing to be authentic. I'm just going to find a way to pin it somewhere on the screen. We are choosing authenticity. We are choosing to share basically what we have experienced in life. And even if we have not experienced it, the learnings and the things that we are sharing here are really just authentic. Number 3, we are feminine. I really just love the feminine side of a woman. It's very soft, it's very kind, it's just something that it sparks. And for me, that femininity is what I hope that Make an Impression is able to also just evoke in you as you interact with my content or as you interact with me just as an individual. The other one is we are unique. So every time I think about uniqueness, I have to think about how do I bring my content to you? Is it helpful? Is it beneficial? Is it unique? How am I presenting it? How is the information being received on the other side of the person consuming my content? And so when I think about those things, when I think about those personalities, when I think about the emotions or the feelings that I want to evoke, is it to you, evoke from you, whichever one fits, it helps me kind of like stay grounded in the content and in how I want to push it out there. And the last one is we are trustworthy. I would really love to be able to create a community of trust, a community that believes that we are here. When you are a part of the Make an Impression community, you can be trusted, you can trust this brand, and you are safe here. So that really helped me now tone down into these 5 personality traits that I am focusing on. Am I being bold? Am I being feminine? Am I being unique? Am I being trustworthy? Am I being authentic? Because every time I have those at the top of my head, I am able to understand that the only content I can put out there is content that represents those 5 things. So you see what a brand personality helps you do? It helps you settle your mind so that you're not all over the place. Today you're not pushing us to excitement, the next day you're pushing us to something else, the next day we are here and we are like, what really is happening? Who are you as a person? Because you seem to be all over. And so for me, I feel like being able to establish a unique brand personality helps you now tone down, fix yourself into that, and helps you focus, so that now you are focusing on one thing. You are focusing on something that you'd really want to be good at. You are working hard towards that thing, and you are ensuring that everything you do is grounded in that one thing. How do you share your brand personality? So, as you guys know, I just love also going through my notes sometimes. It's basically just how you showcase or market your work, both written and in visual format. So, once you have established your brand personality, it's also how do you showcase it? How do you then evoke these emotions from your consumer or from your customer or from this thing that you're trying to sell? How do you do it? So of course, now that has to reflect in how, in your writing, in how you advertise your products, in the visual elements of your products. All these emotions still have to come out, because I believe a customer who keeps coming back, they keep coming back because you evoke an emotion that probably also exists in them. If I am a trustworthy person, I would want to associate with a brand that is trustworthy. If I am an authentic person, I would love to associate with a brand that is very authentic in how they present themselves and in what they do. And the only way I'm able to figure that out is through the visuals, is through how they write their work. It's in the core of the values that they carry basically as a brand. The other one is how you communicate your qualities and values. As you can see, for me, I did create this poster that I think I put in most of my videos to just remind you as the viewer, or to remind you as the consumer of my content, that these are the values that guide Make an Impression. So when you come here, you can expect that there's going to be a bit of boldness. You can expect there's going to be a bit of authenticity. You can expect there's going to be a bit of trust. You can expect there's going to be a bit of femininity. So when you see me doing something like that, you will not be surprised, because I have already evoked that emotion in you. I have already put it in your mind that Make an Impression is about these 5 things. And so I think it really, really helps if you keep communicating your personality to your consumer, so that they can always associate with that when they interact with your content or when they interact with your product. Also, so this one is a bit broad, of course. The kind of influencer you partner with, they should be known for these personalities already. So it's also kind of helps you also position yourself with the brands that you want to work with. If a brand is not trustworthy and they come to your content and they realize that this person is trustworthy, they will not want to work with you, or they will hesitate to work with you, or they will ask for your help to help them get to a point where people can actually trust their brand. Why? Because when they come to your channel, or when they come to your product, or when they come to your business, they feel a sense of that emotion being evoked out of them. They feel being drawn to you, because why? They understand that this person is very big on femininity, this person is very big on boldness, and so these are also the kind of things that we believe in as a brand. And so it makes it very easy to pick you as the person they would work with, because you are very clear on the personalities that represent your brand. I hope we are together. Tuko pamoja, class. Yes. So the other thing I just want to say is, once you have your brand personality in hand, you can now think of the imagery, the creative assets that communicate the personality of your brand. So for me, I had to start from my personality, from the personality that I would want to make an impression to work under, and then that now helped me choose the imagery for what Make an Impression is. So sometimes maybe you guys think that somebody chose color red or color white, or they choose color yellow because it's their favorite color, but sometimes actually people do sit down and put some thought into the brand colors that they pick for their brands. So for me, for example, the reason why I picked white, red, and black is because each color represented a personality from the spectrum of the 5 things that we have just spoken about. When I think about sincerity, when I think about being authentic, when I think about all these things, I think about white, because white is a color that represents sincere. It's a pure color. It's a very clean color. And that's one of the things that I wanted to spark. It's also an emotion, because also what people see, the imagery that you put out there, that you project for your brand, can also help people establish who you are as a person. Why did I choose red? Because red is a color of boldness. It's a bold color. So every time I look at my logo, or I look at the imagery I'm using for Make an Impression, I am reminded that I need to be bold. I am reminded that boldness is one of the personalities that Make an Impression carries. And so I have to be able to keep representing that in the things that I do or how I do them. The other thing is black. Black is a classic color. Black is a settled color. Black is a power color, guys. And so for me, Make an Impression is really just for me, it's a brand that represents that encompasses power, and at the same time, it encompasses settlement, and it encompasses braveness, and it encompasses sincerity and cleanliness. So when I am now thinking about my thumbnails, when I'm now thinking about how I want to communicate my work, when I'm now thinking about all these things, I am already boxed in a pattern that I can work with. So I am not every day thinking, oh, this green looks good today. Maybe we can use that today. Tomorrow I'm there, I'm like, your orange imeweza, your orange no tunaweka leo. But I have things that are guiding me. I have white. I have to remember, okay, what am I speaking about today? I'm speaking about something that for me spokes an emotion of sincerity. So what kind of thumbnail am I looking at? Am I putting white? All these things come into play, because that now helps you bring out the imagery of your brand. The last one is, in order to build a meaningful connection with a consumer, a brand's personal identity should be evident in the way a brand acts in relation to its place within the world. So if you look at all these things I'm speaking about, they are all just coming together. How you represent your brand also helps people understand what you're all about. The personality you choose, the imagery you choose, all these things have a role to play in how people associate with you or associate with your brand. So if you are working on yourself from an individual level, you have to just start thinking about, who am I as a brand, as Jane? What are the values that I stick with? What kind of emotion do I evoke when I speak to people? What kind of emotion do I evoke when I think about the things I want to do? So all these things are tied in together. I would really, really want you to work on your brand personality, find what is unique, find what really works for you, and then see how to build around that. See how to connect all those things. And remember, even if you're building a business and you're thinking about the personalities that you would want to, or the kind of emotions and feelings that you would want to evoke from your consumer, they have to go hand in hand with your personality as an individual, so that you're not there saying that my brand can be trusted, but when we come to your individual record, we are like, hold up, hatutaki kufika huko. So I would really, really hope that you find the right personality that works for your brand. You are able to evoke an emotion that also just helps you be settled, so that wherever you will meet Jane, wherever you will meet me, I will be a good representation of what Make an Impression is. I will be a good representation of who I say I am as an individual. Well, that's it for today's conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for being in this place. Please let me know the kind of personalities, or how you were able to get to the personality that you chose for your business. Please also share a testimony, share something in the comment section. It always helps, because somebody else might benefit from the comment that you put there, and it also just helps to keep the channel engaged. Thank you for being here. My name is Jane. If it's your first time, karibu sana. As I said, this is just a safe space where we are choosing to be authentically bold in how we live our lives, whether that is matters faith, lifestyle, or personal development. So if those are topics that interest you, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and join this growing community. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.